Yeah, it's bunching up the second, third, and fourth place cars, and that back marker in the way there. It should get pretty hectic here.
Yeah, now this is how you can get burned in the traffic. I mean, one can get through. Brocky got through okay, didn't lose too much ground. Seaton now comes underneath him. The other driver gives him plenty of room, but by gee, you can lose 2 or 3 car lengths in a snap of a finger. Yeah,
especially because Wahun got passed down the straightaway, so he didn't even have to think about getting past the car, and maybe actually picked up some time off the draft.
Big interest now, I would think. Stephen Richards, the car you're looking at there, 34, the Valvoline car, and Peter Brock chasing him. That's second and third. Wahun pretty well in front at the moment. Brocky staying to close in. Seaton had the pressure on him, got balked in the traffic and has dropped back maybe a length or 2.
Wahun's lapping about 0.3 of a second faster than the other guys pretty consistently. Stephen Richards just ran a mid-47. Wahun's 46.5, so it's kind of stretching out.
When you consider this complex with the Superdrome, the big speedway, the bank track, the short track, the long track, it is a marvellous complex for motorsport.
It really is. This is a great place, and to be here next weekend at the NASCAR race at the Thunderdome is going to be a real treat.
All right, Kev, we'll stop there for a second as we watch Stephen Richards go through the corner at the end of the straight. We'll take a break, come back shortly. Stay with us. The AUSCARs are doing it their thing at Calder. Welcome back. Nice to have you company here at Calder Raceway. 8 laps to go. It's Wahun, Richards, Brock, Seaton, White and Faulkner. Good drive from Faulkner to get back into the top runners after being turned round on lap 1. That's Terry Wahun you're looking at. And here's the field coming right into the traffic now.
Wahun just in almost off in the grass with the car sideways coming off in that turn. He's really driving that car hard, trying to slip through these back markers.
Stephen Richards shadowing through too, so if he can get a slingshot run, it'll give him a chance to close right up on the Wahun. You can see Richards there. He lost out there. You see he dropped back maybe 3 or 4 lengths in that movement.
Yeah, on off the back straightaway, once again we saw Peter Brock's brakes locking up. He's struggling getting the car stopped at the end of both straightaways.
Well, Alan Jones did say at the start of the race, brakes would come into play here, no doubt about that. There's Wahun. He's leading this race, and he makes his way down. There's the Valvoline car through the heat haze here. A lot of heat in Victoria today, and you can see the heat coming off the track as Wahun flashes past. There's the gap now back to Richards. And there's Seaton, and I think Seaton now has got past Brock. Yes, he has.
Brocky's back to 4th. Looks like he's kind of pinched inside that car. I don't know exactly what happened there. We didn't get to see it.
Well, Mark Seaton in car 23 has kept the pressure on him. That pale blue car shadowed him for the entire race and has managed to get through. I think traffic had a bit to do with that too. Brocky got caught out wide, so now can he come back? He's dropped back a couple of lengths, and it's getting pretty busy round on the short circuit here at the moment.
It's definitely getting hectic with 6 laps to go. It's going to be tough to make any moves with that many cars out there in front of you.
Peter Brock, Peter Perfect as he's called right round Australia, won't give it in, let me tell you. While the thing's running and it's got rubber, he'll drive it. Up on the inside now, trying desperately to get back into touch with Mark Seaton, the blue car in front of him.
It looks like Wahun's stringing those good consistent mid-46s together, and looks like we've got
Well, that's the end of Seaton. Have a look at that. Oh, plenty of smoke, and he'll want to get right off, and he does the right thing too. Gets it up onto the grass. It's just belched itself to pieces. Woof, plenty of smoke. Not the way, Kev, you like to see anyone finish a race.
No, it's a disappointment. He was driving well. He slipped past Brock, and he had Richards in his sight, but things got to finish the race before you get a result.
Yeah, be pretty unhappy about that. Back to the leader. He's happy enough because he's out in front, Terry Wahun. He really has driven a wonderful race here. He's mastered the traffic, picked the way where he's got them. See, that driver has to get up on the ripple strip to get out of the way, but he did a good job doing that.
Stephen Richards is keeping him right there, keeping him in his sights, and he's just trying to keep some pressure on Wahun. He's holding up to it well, and with the few laps that there are left, it's going to be difficult for Stephen Richards to catch him.
Alan Jones was talking about the amount of driving that Stephen is modelling himself on his father's record of driving most cars, GT cars, sports cars, touring cars, doesn't matter. And I mean, I guess now that you've got off 2 wheels onto 4 wheels, you'd like to do something similar.
Yeah, I feel like every time I have a chance to sit in the seat of something that's competitive anyway, I'll have to just take the experience and do it, because time in a car and knowing how it's going to respond is going to be the big plus.
I know I've asked Wayne Gardner this, the transition from 2 to 4 wheels. Was it as difficult or easy than you thought? And Brock's been off. There's Brock coming back onto the circuit. So whether that lock-up of tyre problem that we saw eventually put him off the track, but Brocky back on the track, Waihoon's still in front.
That was off the end of the front straightaway. It looked like he's probably still having that same problem he was having earlier with the brakes.
Yeah, back to the question from the transition from 2 to 4 wheels.
Well, it is difficult. I think the excitement of riding a motorcycle is still a little bit more. But car racing is just as big a challenge. It's just as physical. And I think the biggest difference is you have to compensate. You have to have a lot more space to make a pass on somebody. Instead of being able to just thread the needle and slip through, you've got to have 6 or 8 feet of width to squeeze a car through.
And that just comes with laps.
Just comes with laps, experience, and racing out there with other cars, figuring out just how wide that thing is that you're in.
Terry Waihoon, his car's going to be pretty wide for Stephen Richards to try and get past, let me tell you, because he's led this and led it well. Beautifully turned out car, no doubt about that. BP Car Care has picked up the sponsorship there. Bob Jane has also supported this car, and there's the gap now. Very handy lead back to Stephen Richards. We'll try and pick up where Brocky is as he comes through, because he went off at the end of the main straight after locking up that tyre lap after lap after lap, and I think it finally just said, I've had enough.
Yeah, it's Brock's 5th right behind his teammate Faulkner, so they're both of those cars within a couple of seconds each other.
All right, could be an interesting battle. Well, this is the final lap for Terry Waihoon now. He's on his last lap, so he's just got to keep it together. Doesn't worry too much about traffic because he's got a handy enough lead. He can really just pace himself nicely, because even if Richards gets to him, he's got to get round him.
Yeah, that'd be no easy task, especially on the last lap, and the end of the circuit being as tight and twisty as it is. He'd really have to be close and make a big move.
So round they come, waiting for the checkered flag will be Terry Waihoon, and this has been a terrific performance from him. The flag marshal holds out the checker, he gets the wave, and Terry Waihoon wins this and wins it well. There he is, good drive from him, well planned, no doubt about that. His first win, what a beauty too. He did it well in front of a big crowd here. Stephen Richards second. He's had a busy afternoon so far. White, Faulkner, Jane and Brock just squeezing into the top bracket there.